All praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wawakakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you true, sincere brethren out there, pushing out this purified truth, cleansing this wicked, defiled kingdom with this word, and to the rest of the church who believe as well. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him, none of this would even be possible. So let's jump to the book of 1 Peter 4 and 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. If any minister, let him do it as of the ability which God giveth, that God in all things may be glorified through Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who the world will call Jesus Christ today, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Tawah. Now, when you speak, when you're breaking down these scriptures, it's good that you stay in the scriptures. Use the Bible when you preach. It's not really good to go into a long rant and not use Bible scriptures. Now, you might have some brothers say, well, I'm not very good with pulling out scriptures. Then start taking notes. Start getting a list of scriptures together before you do a lesson, because it's best that you use the scriptures. Okay? But it also says to do it to your ability. We know that everyone's not a dictionary or a Bible index. I myself, I have to still go to notes a lot of times, but that's okay. My main concern is still doing my best to use these scriptures when I speak. All right? So when you're breaking down whatever you're trying to break down, over time, you're going to find it to where it's more in your memory because you're conditioning yourself. It's like training yourself. When you edify your brethren, you're also edifying yourself. So eventually, over time, you're going to remember certain scriptures. Let's say you do, within a week, you pulled out 15 scriptures. Out of those 15 scriptures, you may remember at least 2 of them or 1 of them, you know? So it's highly important that you speak from the scriptures and not your mind, because it's good to stay on track of what you're speaking on. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which God giveth. So not all brothers are on the same level, but nevertheless, according to your ability, make sure when you're speaking as the oracles of God. Let's go into that word oracles. A brief utterance, a divine oracle, doubtless, because oracles were generally brief. In the New Testament, the words of utterance of God, of the contents of the Mosaic law. So pretty much the scriptures, the Old and the New Testament. When you speak, bring out the Bible, all right? That God in all things may be glorified. So when you speak using the scriptures, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gets the glory, not yourself. Through Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Tawah. Okay, so here in these last days, it's highly important that we stay involved in spiritual conversation and not speaking to things that are, not in the Bible. Going off and telling someone something, but it doesn't apply in the scriptures. Okay? Because when you speak, and you speaking of something that's totally contrary to the scriptures, it's because you have a dark spirit, man. Okay, so let's go to the book of Isaiah 8 and 20. To the law and to the testimony. And where's the law and these testimonies found? In the scriptures. Okay? If they speak not according to this word, the words found in the scriptures, it is because there is no light in them. So you may have men who try to explain things, and they might say something that doesn't apply to the scriptures because they're ranting. They're just going on and on and on, and no Bible scriptures have come out. And not only that, you're not really edifying. If someone can watch your video and at the end of your video, they have not one verse to apply to what you're saying. Okay? Now, like I said, Not all brothers are good with bringing out scriptures. That's why you have notes. And with all these videos floating around on YouTube, there's no excuse why you can't come up with a lesson on your own using the scriptures. All right. That doesn't mean you have to pull out a video and have 50,000 scriptures. You can do a video with just 2 scriptures. All right. As long as it's edifying. Okay. But if you have 2 scriptures, make a video with them 2 scriptures. All right. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So use this word as your guide. Because when you're talking out of your own heart, it's easy to go stray from the point that's at hand. It's easy to say something that doesn't line up with the scriptures because you're going off of how you feel. And it may not be something you're trying to do intentionally, but it can happen because you're not using the oracles. All right. So avoid just rambling on. All right, pretty much. Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So avoid vain babblings. And when you're not using the scriptures as your guide, it's easy to get involved in vain babblings. It's easy to start talking from your own heart and not according to the scriptures. Now, I will say this. Let's say you have a video and you don't use any scriptures. Maybe you're on the road. Maybe you're at work. You can't come up with anything. You make sure that what you're saying lines up with the scriptures, man. Because everything that we're saying, we're going to be held accountable for it in the day of judgment. So it's highly important of the words that you speak. Because these words that come out of our mouth are more than words. They are spirit and they are life. And the tongue can also condemn you based off of the things you're saying as well. So avoid the vain babblings. Keep it in the scriptures. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Now, science itself isn't bad. Science is really another way of saying knowledge. You have good science and you have bad science. We know the science of the scriptures. But you have Esau, the so-called white man, coming up with his own science to oppose the scriptures, which also causes him to use a lot of vain babbling. Okay? Verse 21, which some professing have erred concerning the faith, grace be with thee, Tawa. So, many have erred because of vain babblings and speaking things opposite of this truth. All right? So, as I've said, keep it in the scriptures. All right? Keep it in the scriptures. Let's close this out with the book of 1 Peter 1:15. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. So in all manner of conversation, make sure you're speaking according to the scriptures. Even when you're at work and you're speaking to someone, you may not bring out Bible scriptures, but still speak according to knowledge. Speak according to the word. Okay? There's ways of bringing out this truth discreetly when you're speaking with people. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you have someone you work with and he's known to be an adulterer. And if y'all have a conversation, you tell him, well, why would you want to have sex with somebody else's woman? You don't find that disgusting? You want somebody doing that to you? Because, Jake is heavy in adultery. Jake feels like, oh, well, that's everybody's woman. All these women are everybody's woman, which is just wicked philosophy. Okay, something that's of this world. That's just, man, that's sick. All right, but that's the mind of a lot of 2/3. But you can tell them, well, If you catch a STD, you can only be mad at yourself. Or if you get her pregnant and you want child support, you can only blame yourself. Or if he comes and finds out you popping this woman and he kills you, well, oh well. Those are ways that you can still speak according to the scriptures without bringing out the scriptures up front. So no matter what you're doing, make sure you're speaking in all manner of holy conversation. All right? Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. So that's what 16 says. You have to be holy. You have to be separate. You have to be different. You have to stick out from everyone else. Okay? So just make sure you're using the scriptures when you're doing these lessons. And if you're new in the spirit, just, get a piece of paper, write down 2 verses, do a lesson around it, Do a lesson around 1 verse if that's, what your ability is. But nevertheless, bring out the scriptures, man, so that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gets all the glory. All right? So, Lord willing, this lesson was simple and it was edifying. Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.